Cryptids. We all know a cryptid or two, but here are 5 East Coast cryptids you might not know. In case you've been living under a rock, cryptids are basically creatures that have been around since like the dawn of mankind. Some are terrifying and just want to suckle on the human bones, and some are just mysterious little creatures with no real malicious intent. Cryptids by definition are mythical creatures that have been said to exist and have like a big following to some degree, but don't have any real proof that they exist. The East Coast of the good old US of A has tons of cryptids all over the place. We got them in our woods, in our waters, in our streets. Number 5, Florida, the skunk ape. Not only home to the cryptid Florida man, said to be a distant relative of Bigfoot, skunk ape primarily resides in the Florida swamps. Dating back to the 1800s, this creature has been mentioned numerous times, but yet it remains elusive to us. Said to be somewhere between 5 and 7 feet and have some really dark mottled red fur and a stench that basically would wipe your nose faster than a mom on a toddler. Regardless, if it's got any ounce of ape or monkey strength, I'm not messing with it, man, no thanks. CBS News had an online article back in 2013 with remarks and a video with some young Floridians even claiming to catch the skunk ape on camera.
There he is.
Number 4, Georgia, the Altimaha. A bizarre name for maybe an even more bizarre creature. Not too much is known about this creature, but what it has been mentioned is it's an aquatic river creature said to inhabit the Altimaha River. It's believed to not be much bigger than an adult human, but dating back the whole way to the 1800s, it's still not something I want to get in the water with. There's been a few different depictions of this creature, and based on any of them, if I can't see the bottom of the water, I probably am not getting in the water. Some even think that maybe what people thought was this river monster was just an alligator gar, and here's a picture of one of those. I don't really see how people could get them confused, but this could have been where the myth was born. Seems a little reminiscent of the Loch Ness monster, I gotta say, but with absolutely no research, I'm gonna assume that good old Nessie's a cryptid too. Number 3, North Carolina, the beast of Bladdenboro. This one I find actually pretty interesting. It's definitely a fun-loving cryptid here, home to and named after Bladdenboro, North Carolina. This creature is on a different level than most of the ones previously mentioned. Said to be responsible for a string of deaths back in the 1950s. There's articles dated back to December in 1953 describing a sleek and black creature which had killed multiple kenneled dogs. Reportedly, the scenes where it happened, all that remained were shreds of victims and pools of blood. Could have been a panther or a mountain lion? Possibly. I find this cryptid a little more interesting than the previous one because there's actually articles, newspaper, and more to help corroborate this story. To the town of Bladdenboro back in the 1950s, this was a very real thing the town was dealing with. From an autopsy on one of the dog's remains back at that time, apparently one of the dog's corpse had been almost completely drained of blood. The beast's victims were said to mostly have been decapitated. Apparently for the remainder of 1954, women and children were advised to stay indoors while men went about their normal business armed with weapons. This is just something I read while researching. I can't prove any of that, but if that actually happened, that's pretty intense. Some claiming this creature to be vampiric or made of pure evil. I feel like most likely it was probably a mountain lion that was just, maybe it was rabbit or something. Who knows? Number 2, Virginia, the Mothman. This one might be one you know. The Mothman has been featured in videos, movies, books, even games. This is a well-known story, but do you know it? I love moths. They're cute with their fuzzy little butts, and they're absolutely harmless, right? Possibly younger than the previously mentioned, but maybe also the most terrifying. The Mothman was discovered in 1966 near Point Pleasant, West Virginia. The creature was reportedly seen by a couple who claims they saw a man-sized bird, creature, something. This was quite a while ago. Finding much evidence beyond some articles online is a bit difficult, as are the other cryptids. There is a fun Mothman festival that is held at Point Pleasant yearly, which is pretty cool. It also has some small attractions with it. I'm not a cryptozoologist, and no, I'm not referring to the Logan Paul thing. okay? Cryptozoologist apparently the title for the people that go seeking things that don't exist, at least when it comes to like cryptids and that sort of stuff. Some form of pseudoscience. Mothman was popularized by the Mothman prophecies that chalked it into more of like a paranormal type of entity. I did watch the movie way back then. I don't really remember a lot, but I do feel like I remember it being kind of gory or grotesque. Cryptids are all terrifying in their own ways, but I think a man-sized bug kind of takes the cake here. I would absolutely squeal like a pig if I saw that, okay? Speaking of squealing, number 1, my home state, Pennsylvania, the skunk. Now, the skunk is a hideous, vile little creature, so ashamed from its own looks, it hides from everything. The skunk isn't mean or threatening, less looks could kill. It's just a sad little creature who wants nothing more than to hide and weep alone. Apparently, this creature so desperately refuses to be caught that if it happens, it said its own tears will burn and dissolve its own flesh until nothing remains. This is fucked up. It's a sad life for a little cryptid, and I kind of feel bad for the ugly fuck. The first mention of a skunk was in a book way back in 1910 titled Fearsome Creatures of the Lumberwoods. The skunk is actually also mentioned in a Steely Dan song. If you're familiar with Steely Dan at all, it's in the song Any Major Dude Will Tell You. He has a little line in there.
Have you ever seen a skunk's tears? Well, look at mine.
Now I just want to mention that the order of these are in an order of most favorite to least favorite, or most scary to least scary. It was just an order that I picked, and it's going basically from south to north on the East Coast. And I only put this one at number 1 spot because it's for my home state. But if I had to pick the scariest one, at least on the East Coast for me, it's gonna be the Mothman. Just hand down, the Mothman is equally dope and terrifying. Well, now you know some of my favorite cryptids from the East Coast. If you enjoyed the video and you want another cryptid video, let me know. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you soon.
Get your cryptid spray today. Protect yourself from those who oppose you. Oh God, it didn't work. Oh God! Someone hit the tape! Hit the tape! Hit the tape, damn it! Hit the fucking tape!